Uh, uh, Hello and greetings from the lab. So today is gonna be the last Apex stream of season 8. Yeah. Last season. Oh my god. I'm tripping over my words because I'm actually so excited for this patch notes. I actually didn't delve too deeply into this because I was kind of scared of spoiling myself too hard. Because I know that there were a lot of like rumors flying about. I guess it's not really rumors, but there were a lot of pro players that were basically invited to playtest the upcoming seasons, and especially for this one, they had a lot to say. But I purposely didn't tune into any of their streams because I wanted to see it for myself, and because rumors are, because although there's a lot of stuff that goes on in playtesting, right, and although most of it is ready to be shipped out, I didn't want to bait my viewers into thinking that he said this is gonna happen, but then it didn't actually make it into the live game. Because there's a chance that some of the stuff that they were experimenting with could be heading into the game during the mid-season, or it could be scrapped depending on how much data they get during the course of the season. So, anyways, yeah, Legacy Update patch notes. It's out early. Normally, patch notes are released on the day before the patch, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4 days left. Patch days are usually on Tuesdays, and it's been announced that the patch is gonna go live on May 4th. So we're probably going to be seeing the download start up at approximately 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Or 10 a.m. Pacific. Yeah. We normally see the patch notes on the 3rd. Or possibly on day of on a Tuesday. But yeah, it's early this time because it's kind of understandable because there's a lot to go through. And look at this. If you look on the scroll bar, it's a very, very long boy. Anyways. Without further ado, let's just dive right into it. So, Legacy Update patch notes. We're going beyond Battle Royale with arenas, introducing Valkyrie as well as new arena maps, an Olympus map update, and more. So this is dev stream where they basically talk about the patch notes with the rest of the dev team. It's 48 minutes long, but if you want to get a little bit of insight on the reasoning that goes behind a lot of the decisions, then feel free to check it out. And new for Apex Legends Legacy. So, arenas. Their games are going underground with the introduction of a new permanent mode, Arenas. Fully reassembled and unimpressed with the glitz and glamour of the Apex games, former Apex Predator Ash is taking the competition back to its roots, a purer form of combat. The rules are simple, 3 versus 3. Eliminate your enemies to win the round. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You win, or you die. Arena features a new set of custom maps, tailor-made for close quarters combat, with more to come in the future. Squads start in each round in a spawn room, where they can get weapons, gears, and abilities, and adjust their loadout as their strategy changes. The first team to win 3 rounds with at least 2-point lead will be crowned the victor, unless they battle to a 4 tie. Then they'll have the honor of participating in Ash's favorite part of the game, sudden death. Arena does sound fun. Just to talk a little bit about arenas, I heard that for a lot of the pros that playtested this game, they're saying that some of them might convert over to just playing arenas permanently on stream. I heard that it's actually that fleshed out and it's actually like extremely polished. So that's going to be really exciting to see. For those who aren't actually interested in Battle Royale, but like the combat and the movement of Apex Legends, I think this is going to be home sweet home for them. It's going to be great. I'm actually super looking forward to this mode as well. Party Crasher, short version, Mirage took the voyage on Joyride and it didn't go as planned. So these are the 3 different maps that are going to be in the arenas mode at the very start. So over here you can basically see Mirage's Voyage, over here. They said that it was going to come back, and I didn't think that it was actually going to be through arenas, but here it is. It's one of 2 exciting custom arenas where you'll be able to show off your skills. This arena takes place in a ritzy downtown plaza where players can choose to engage on the crashed Mirage Voyage, or the opulent 2-story buildings that make up the downtown. Stay vigilant, as this hosts a variety of engagement distances, both close quarters and long distance. Party Crasher looks so pretty. Honestly, yeah, it does. The lighting also makes it really nice. This kind of like neon bluish pinkish like purple area over here, along with like the brightly green areas. I think a lot of the map design and the colors in Apex Legends goes really well. Like, even before you actually drop into the map, just by looking at the atmosphere and like the sky colors and stuff like that, you kind of know, you have a gist of what's going on, and I think it's a really good form of storytelling. Phase Runner. This Phase Runner on Olympus is unique, but it wasn't the first of its kind. So this is basically like the pre-production experimentation area for one of the Phase Runners. As the second of the custom arenas and our largest, you'll find a hidden experimental zone at the peak of a mountain where a prototype phase runner is ready for use. This map gives you a lot of space to maneuver, so be sure to be on the lookout for those who prefer to be patient and take you out from afar. Sound tactics and clear communication are what you need to come out on top as you fight through the construction site or near the phase runner exit. So this one's interesting because I'm pretty sure that this phase runner is actually active, so you're probably going to pop out on the other side of the map, but this map actually looks huge compared to Party Crasher. I'm not sure how they're going to work this out, but from the gameplay videos that I've seen, the Bojack bow, which is the new weapon that's announced, it seems to be do pretty well over here because the bow is actually really quiet, and with the amount of range that it has and the fact that it does like 70 damage per hit. Yeah, I have a feeling that the bow is going to be pretty annoying unless I mean, it's in the hands of good players, but we'll have to see how this goes. Thanks for the follow, Soggy. Alright. In addition to 2 new maps, other areas from 3 Battle Royale maps will be thrown into bi-weekly rotation, giving you 5 total maps for arenas. At the start, you'll get Artillery from King's Canyon, Thermal Station from World's Edge, and Golden Gardens from Olympus. I forgot to follow. It's okay. Okay, so it seems like we're going to be fighting in the middle of the area over here. See, these map choices are actually kind of interesting because especially for Thermal Station from World's Edge, the reason why I think this is interesting is because there's usually like let me just zoom in a little bit. I may have gone too far. Yeah, over here. On top of the banners, there's actually a platform where people could stand on before. I'm not sure if that's still available to use, but oh, it's right under the banner actually. So high ground tactics are going to be in play on this map, as it always has. Horizon, Pathfinder, like Pathfinder, back in the original World's Edge used to be extremely powerful because he was one of the 2 characters that could actually send people up here. No, he was the only one, with his team grapple. But now that Horizon and Octane can do similar things, I'm not sure how this is gonna go, but it's probably a lot more balanced and it doesn't require Pathfinder in every team for this to work. Caustic is also pretty strong in here because he can just take control of the center, though I don't think that there's ring mechanics in this game mode. Probably not, because I don't think that's part of the design. Artillery and Olympus. These are just both standard places. I think, yeah, they're always fun places to fight over here. I kind of would have preferred Estates though, but I don't think it's, no, I think I only prefer Estates in an actual Battle Royale setting. For an actual 3v3 fight, I think this is probably better, in terms of map layout. Yeah, Estates is more hectic, but this is definitely a lot more balanced. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. So Valkyrie's the new, Kairi Imahara, the daughter of the apex predator Viper, salvaged the remains of her father's North Star Titan years after his death. With Rampart's help, she fashioned a sleek new jetpack that honors her family's legacy. Now she's entered the games under the name Valkyrie. So on the link, there's actually a video describing her kit, but the TLDR is basically here. The passive is the VTOL jets. Use your jetpack to reposition or reach heights. You have limited fuel and cannot use weapons while flying. Apparently, you can't use your guns while in the air using your jetpack while you're going up. But if you cancel your jetpack, during your falling animation or while you have forward momentum, you can actually pull your gun and start shooting people. So there's going to be a lot of stylish plays to be made over here. And apparently you can also do some pretty massive momentum shifts in the middle of the air as well. So her full movement kit is available to console players from what the devs have said. Which means that, yeah, her midair mobility is actually extremely good. Though we'll have to see how people actually put it to use, I guess. In terms of how high she can go up, I heard that it's higher than Horizon's Q, is what they said. Yeah, it's higher than Horizon's Q. Tactical Missile Swarm fires a swarm of mini rockets which damage and disorient the enemy. What this does is basically fires like I think it's like a 3x4 swarm of mini rockets. Apparently it doesn't do that much damage, but it's mostly used as like a slightly better fused tactical, where it's mostly used to disorient or maybe get like the last hit off on someone that's trying to heal behind a rock or something like that. It's not powerful enough to just single-handedly take down enemies, but it has its own uses. Apparently it's not nearly as annoying as people might have thought it was going to be. So it's good to know that it's well in line with balance. Ultimate Skyward Dive. Take to the skies and to reposition a long distance across the map. Your squad mates can join in. So this one is basically like a free... You basically turn into a balloon. You can just reposition anywhere you want. You can be shot during the animation, and your teammates have to be pretty close to you for them to latch onto you, I believe. Which makes sense. There is a slight charge up time before you basically get shot up into the air, I think. But the TLDR is basically you can reposition anywhere you want. Now, how you use it is like entirely dependent up to you. For ranked, you could probably use it to... Well, the most straightforward way to use it is basically just get high ground on top of a building, and because it's only for your own team, right? If you do it in a sneaky way where the enemies can't see you, then that's basically a free ticket up onto the top of a building, unlike some other ultimates. Because if you use Pathfinder Grapple, Pathfinder Ziplines, or Octane's Jump Pad, then the other teams could use that too, but this one is basically one way. Horizon's Q is in a similar vein, but it doesn't go up quite as high, and there's also the fact that the other enemies can actually follow you up there if they're fast enough, but this is basically just yeah, it's just for your own team, so that could be useful. And classes Recon, scanning survey beacons reveals the next circle's location. Oh yeah, there's also one thing that's not mentioned in the passive in the notes over here. Per passive VTOL jets, when she's in the air, she can basically scan for enemies, and it shows up to your allies as well. So that's also another important thing to consider. Is basically she basically turns into a mobile crypto drone, kinda. She scans enemies in a similar way. And people were saying that's like, this is passive power creep because she gets basically 3 passives. She can scan beacons, she can use her jetpack and move around, and then she also has like a crypto drone scanning ability built into her kit. It's like, we'll have to see how the other legends get reworked over time, but compared to legends like Pathfinder, who basically don't have passives at all, yeah, it's power creep, to put it simply. Anyways. The new weapon, the Bojack. The new Bojack compound bow is a precision marksman weapon that rewards a skilled and confident hand. Holding down the fire will draw the bow over a short time, increasing the power of the shot, with maximum power giving optimal damage and projectile speed. Repeatedly firing the Bojack right as it reaches max power provides the best sustained damage. The Bojack uses a new ammo type, arrows, which is unique to this weapon. Arrows are more rare on the battlefield, but fired arrows will stick to surfaces and remain on the world for players to pick up and reuse. The 1x HCOG Classic, 1x Holosight, 2x HCOG, basically 1 to 3x optics can all be equipped. The Bojack can also be further modified with 2 new hop-ups entering the game, Shatter Caps and Deadeye's Tempo. It can even equip both hop-ups simultaneously. So what Shatter Cap does is, it basically turns the arrows into a shotgun. So it basically like scatters the arrows in a short distance, and it does a lot of damage if all of them hit. And Deadeye's Tempo is basically just an attack speed buff. So if you combine the 2 of them together, then it can become a pretty lethal crossbow. But the way that I see most people using it is without the shatter caps, because with a fully charged Bojack bow, you deal like 105 damage to the head and you deal 70 damage to a body. So you have the potential of 2-shotting people, or more commonly you're going to be 3 to 4-shotting people. But yeah, the Bojack is strong, and it's also really quiet, so yeah, be prepared to get annoyed by it a little bit, but we'll have to see. We're probably going to be seeing it more in the arenas, simply because it's probably going to be more accessible, because it does seem like the loot pool is heavily modified in Season 9, and we're going to get into that later. But yeah, hopefully the Bojack isn't going to be plaguing the new map, because it might become a weapon that if you don't know how to use it, then you might fall off the meta. But it doesn't look too difficult to use from what I've seen. It's basically just pull back and fire, pull back and fire, pull back and fire. 3 shots, you're dead. It's kind of an interesting weapon. I'll have to use it first to make any conclusions on it. Olympus, the Lost Fleet update. A fleet of mysterious ships have made their way over to Olympus and brought with them an unworldly parasitic plant that began to take root along the surface. The lead ship, the Icarus, has docked with the city and changed the landscape for good. Fight through the claustrophobic halls of the ghost ship, search corpses for a mystery keycard, and walk away as the last squad standing. So there's a new complete map blog about the whole change because there's a lot that's changed. This one's a whole lot shorter, so I'll go get into it real quickly. So over here, you can see that this entire section over here, the holes have been patched up and the ship has basically crashed over here. As to why the holes are patched up, I'm not sure, but it is what it is. There's also small details like this. Like over here, you can clearly see like the metal dividers, basically showing like the different grass plates that were used to build this area, right? But then on the overgrown area over here, you can actually see that the grass has grown so much that it basically covers up all the metal, and it's not visible anymore. It's very faint. So all these like small details in the level design are something that I really give Respawn devs props for. So this is basically, yeah, this is the main change over here, and inside the ship is basically like it's super overgrown, and inside there's like a bunch of like different loot pockets, and there's also vaults. Now over here, I believe they're talking about this is basically just another perspective on the ship. This is slightly from the further back, and you can see that it actually extends further over onto the side. Now the Icarus Bridge. So vaults are back. Yeah, vaults are back, and I'm very excited for this one. So they're gonna be laying around corpses this time, so we're not gonna be forced to hunt down those loot drones. Instead, we're gonna be able to find them on the ground. But because these are gonna spawn on the ground, they're probably gonna have different spawn locations for the cards. I highly doubt that it's gonna be one location fixed, because if they do that, then it's gonna be the most obvious hotspot in the world, and that's probably not gonna be what's happening. It's probably gonna be randomized like the loot drones that we've had in World's Edge, where these key cards are gonna spawn on a bunch of different corpses, spread across the ship, and then you're probably gonna have to just make your way over to one of the vaults. I'm assuming that if it's gonna be like World's Edge, there's probably gonna be 3 vaults. We'll have to see. If there's only one vault, then that might be a little bit disappointing, but yeah, it's probably gonna be more than one. Small tweaks. Oh yeah. So they did 2 things over here. They removed 2 redeploy button balloons. The most obvious one is over here. I forgot where the other one is. This one looks like it's been lowered a little bit, but I don't think that's the main difference. Yeah, so this balloon's been removed. I find it funny because Valkyrie's been reintroduced. Oh yeah, it's this balloon over here. So these 2 balloons have been removed. From 2 different points in the map. But then nowadays you have Valkyrie to do it for you instead, so it doesn't really matter. These routes are not connectors for the 2 buildings, so that's not something to get too excited about. But it is kind of cool. Yeah, and back to the main patch notes. So starter kit and loot changes. Players will now start the match with a starter kit consisting of a level 1 Evo shield, helmet, and knockdown shield, plus 2 shields and cells and syringes each. This does not include level 1 backpacks, so you're still gonna have to search for those. We removed level 1 helmets and knockdown shields from the loot pool. So basically most of the white loot is gone. I mean, I guess it's only for white armors. Along with lowered or removed spawn chances for these items, we've rebalanced the loot pool such that higher level versions of these items will appear at nearly the same rate as they do now, but other items will appear more often. Weapons, ordnance, health, and ammo, and etc. So a part of this is probably gone in order to make room for things such as the Bojack bow, arrows, additional hop-ups, more health and ammo. But yeah, you had to clear some stuff out of the loot pool to basically make room for the new stuff. So I think that this is, it makes sense. I like it. I'm just wondering what they're going to do about the backpack situation. You're probably going to still have to look for those, but yeah. So not all white loot is removed. White attachments for your weapons are still going to be in the game. We want to take a crack at improving the loot pool for a while, with the design goals being to make picked up loot feel more impactful to the game and to thin out the loot pool a bit in general, since we're always adding new items to the pool. Yeah, so like what I said, if you want to add some stuff to the pool without making everything too rare, then you kind of have to force it by taking some stuff out. So this makes a lot of sense. And they've also been kind of playtesting this kind of loadout beforehand with the original takeover. the original takeover, you basically spawn with level 1 full body stuff along with like a P20, I think. And I'm pretty sure they got a lot of data when that happened like a year back. So we're removing level 1 helmets and knockdown shields from the ground loop because they seem like the least exciting, least meaningful equipment pickups we had. Very true. Their power is practically invisible, so they don't feel like a character improvement in the way that things like, say, a backpack feels. Getting those extra feels so chunky. We're keeping level 1 Evo shields in the loot pool, albeit at a lower spawn chance, in addition to adding them to your starter kit, because having them sprinkled around is important for shield swapping shenanigans. This is also true. Finally granting these... Okay, so they're keeping the level 1 Evo shields in the loot pool, but they're lowering its spawn chance, and they're also trying to maintain the spawn chances of other armors as they are. So what this means is that there's less armor swaps to make, but the armor swaps that you make will be more impactful. But most of the armor swaps that people are going to be doing are going to be not through bins, but through player boxes anyways. So I don't think that there's going to be too much of an impact in that area, but yeah, the fact that you don't have to look for level 1 body armor when you drop is extremely helpful, especially because if you're going to punch people out at the start, having that extra 50 health and bulk is basically just going to increase the amount of hits you need to take to die by like 2, I think. I think each melee hit does like 31 damage or something like that. And you take 4 of them to die, but then if you have 150 HP, it takes 5. No, you're just gonna take an extra hit. Ish. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and this also means that you're basically not going to be one-shot by a fuse Q if he punches and sticks you. So that's good. And finally, granting these pieces of gear from the start of the game is also intended to improve the hot drop situation. Having more health, some headshot damage reduction, and a little knockdown protection can give players some more time to react to a chaotic hot drop than before. This is what I was talking about with having that extra bulk at the start being extremely helpful. Be on board for a lookout for more loot changes in the future. This is going to be an ongoing project. It's going to be exciting. So emotes, there's not really much to talk about here, but yeah, they did basically put in anti-cheat measures over here. So if you have anti-peek, anti-peek is enabled by default for everyone. So you can't, because you go into like a third-person perspective when using emotes, people are saying, what if you can look through corners and see enemies that are hidden away? But then, no, they already thought that out, and your FOV is only going to be changed. Your field of view is only going to be changed in a way that it actually shows your character, but doesn't actually reveal any new enemies in the area. So I think that's kind of clever on their part, but I'm not sure if this is something that players can get used to. I'm wondering if you can actually use it to find enemies anyways. Like, you might not know the exact spot of where an enemy is, but if you try to use an emote and then you find that the camera isn't shifting the way that you think it is, then it's possible that there could be an enemy hiding behind the area, right? So I'm wondering if conversely, if this might I'm wondering if emotes is just a bad idea in general, honestly, if it's not first person thing, but we'll have to see. Yeah, I have a feeling that anti-peek might be abusable to a certain degree, though to what degree is up for testing, I guess. Introducing emotes. Every legend will have one emote unlocked at launch, and additional emotes can be obtained through Apex packs or by crafting them. Oh god, imagine emoting and someone just kills you while you're emoting. Honestly, if you get killed while emoting, you deserve that. I'm just gonna put that out there. There's gonna be a lot of good clips to see off of that one. Every legend's gonna have one at the start. Equal your emotes to your emote wheel and flex away. It's great fun to show off your squad mates at the starting room or the arenas, and of course you have to use them on the winner's podium. Oh, okay, so that's a nice little touch. Yeah, so when you win a game now, right? Instead of just standing awkwardly, just looking at, like, with deadpan eyes, like, into the void, you're actually going to be emoting. I think that's a really nice idea. Looking forward to that. Yeah. Now, since emotes kick your camera a bit to the third-person view, we know some folks are already thinking about corner peeking. Competitive integrity is still paramount, so enemies that your character couldn't see in the first person will still not be shown to you while you're in the third person. So, once again, like I said, I'm wondering if anti-peek can be used as a way to find enemies, but even in that case, if Yeah, there's no winning, because I was gonna say, it's like if there's 3 people hiding behind a rock and you don't know about it, and then you just decide to peek it thinking that it's one person anyways, it doesn't really no, it's because 3 people wouldn't be huddled up in a corner like that, because simply because if one grenade were to be thrown that way, then it would basically just kill them all. But like I said, if someone's emoting and then it doesn't show the corner, then you could actually just throw a grenade in there and just flush them out. I don't know. We'll have to see how this is used. If anything, I have a feeling that in ranked, if this becomes a huge problem, then they're probably gonna be disabling it, emotes completely. But we'll have to see. I hope the emote is cancelable, like if you accidentally emote. That's probably gonna be the case because I don't think we have any. We have some uninterruptible actions in the game. One of them being opening the vault, and the other one being like the start of a res, I think. But no, even the start of a res can be cancelled. Yeah, I think it's just opening the vault. Yeah, there's not many things that aren't cancelable, so I think that we're gonna be fine in that regard. It's gonna make for some pretty good BM right after though, right after a kill. It's better than just dropping a voice line. It's better to, yeah, it's better. It's way more high effort than dropping a voice line or like a hollow spray and teabagging, I guess. But yeah, we'll see. So this is a new battle pass with the 2 legendary skins, level 25 and level 50. I kind of understand why they're going with the Japanese theme, because the new legend Valkyrie is Japanese. So this is kind of interesting. Unlock the premium legacy battle pass and level it up to unlock new skins like Rampart's crafty Kitsune costume at premium level 25 and Wraith's Demon Whisper at premium level 50. I think the Rampart skin actually looks really nice. I have mixed feelings about the Wraith one. Also, I'm wondering about the Wraith one, because her mask is actually kind of making her head taller, I guess. It's probably not going to be reflected in the hitbox, but some characters in competitive shooters have a problem where not only do they look bigger than they actually are in terms of hitboxes, so that might cause a bit of frustration, but it's also like a mini nerf to Wraith, because if you're trying to hide behind a box and your mask pokes out because it's like kind of sticking out a little bit taller than the rest of your body, that could be a pay to lose scenario. Because I know in Valorant there are cases where Sage, the character that I play a lot of, her hair is actually like a giant ponytail, and you can actually see her peek out like behind boxes if she's hiding in one. So yeah, that could be something to watch out for. I can guarantee you that on release, when some people get this skin, there's gonna be clips of this poking out, and they're gonna be wondering why they got stuck with an arc star or why there's a grenade being thrown at their way. It's gonna happen. Legend updates. Low profile characters. Low profile no longer exists. So this is good. Fortified trait still exists, but low profile characters have been removed. Not have been removed. The trait has been removed so that you no longer take additional 5% damage if you're playing Wraith, Lifeline, and Watson. This is because with the nerf of Wraith's hitbox, where they made it bulkier, they actually found out that it's a better way to control her win rate through this way rather than just slapping on like a bam 5% extra damage. Because just straight number additions and subtractions are, I don't want to say it's a lazy way of balancing it, but it's one way of balancing it. But it's definitely not the best way of balancing it. So adjusting the hitbox is something that I agree with. Because one of the reasons why I think that it's a bad way to balance it is because one of the things that it does when you start tinkering around with so many different damage modifiers is it turns the game into kind of a memorization game where you have to individually think about how much damage you need to do on a character, or how much damage you can do to a character, and it's not something that you should be forced to do in a game like Apex Legends, where you're mostly where it should be prioritizing something like positioning and your aiming. Yeah, so I think this is a really good change. Yeah, because sometimes like fortified characters are really obvious, like who has them. But low profile, some characters are basically on the borderline of whether they should have it or not. Like Bloodhound's head being too big, or Watson's backpack being a part of the hitbox, things like that. So it's really nice that they decide to remove this, and they're pursuing different ways. Lifeline. This is what I was afraid of. She's gonna get reworked. So Combat Revive no longer deploys a shield. Can now revive 2 players at the same time. Can now cancel active revives in progress to allow your teammates to defend themselves in the knockdown shield. Huh. So the fact that this says can now revive 2 players at the same time, this means that the drone can actually revive 2 players at the same time, and you don't. It's not like the old one where you can actually use the drone to revive 1 person and manually revive the other one. No, this is two automatic revives. The shield is gone. That makes me so sad. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's really sad. As Lifeline players, it's really sad, but for everyone else, it's like a sigh of relief. It used to be the most annoying part about endgame fights, having Lifeline. Basically having like a gold knockdown shield for every person that comes up. It was ridiculous, but I can see why it's being removed. The Doc Heal Drone, heal rate increased from 5 HP per second to 8 HP per second. This is a huge 60% increase in healing done. Deployment time before healing begins reduced by roughly 33%. So the hose attaches to you 33% faster, so this is also really nice. So what they're trying to basically do is actually make her into a more active field medic, where if you're fighting behind the box, the heal rate from the drone is actually going to be a lot more impactful to the fight, because it's going to be... you're basically popping a syringe every 3 seconds for free, compared to every 5. Lifeline carries LMAO, yeah. She was too strong if you had a competent Lifeline on your team, for endgame battles at least. But yeah, this is a healthy change, I feel. This is a healthy change. Yeah, so basically with this, with 5 HP per second versus 8 HP per second, so in the course of a fight that lasts for 10 seconds, it's the difference between popping 2 syringes and popping 3. It's a big difference with the Doc Heal Drone. And care packages. Cooldown reduced from 6 minutes to 5 minutes. Okay, now guarantees an upgrade if possible in 3 categories: body shield, other equipment, and weapon attachment based on your team's current gear when the package arrives. This was really important because oftentimes you'd get care package drops where it won't necessarily be an upgrade or a side grade, but you could get redundant weapon attachments or weapon attachments for things that you don't need. So I'm assuming that this is going to be like, in the current care package, when it drops, there's one side that basically gives you attachments, one side that gives you armor, and another side that gives you heals. So the 2 of these sides are going to be modified so that it's guaranteed to give you upgrades. So I think that's a really good... Yeah, not only is it really good for something at the start, it's going to be especially impactful in the end game if you try to use it as cover as well. Because... this body shield thing. So when the care package drops in an endgame fight and there's a body shield in it, and everybody has level 4s or 5s, then you know that it's not going to be anything less than a purple or a red shield. So this could be an instant like 125 heal or 100 heal during an endgame fight. Other equipment is kind of less impactful in that kind of scenario, but yeah, the body shield swapping could be a free heal and free cover. So Lifeline's kit was not in a particularly healthy state. The passive shield extremely strong to the point of frustration, while her tactical and ultimate seemed like they were becoming more and more obsolete. These changes are aimed to redistribute the big tower differential between all of our abilities, making Doc and Care Package more powerful and effective, while tamping down on the highly binary and situational combat revive. Yeah, this thing definitely deserved a nerf. Some suggestions that were being thrown around was make the shield have an HP bar instead. I think that isn't a good idea, honestly, because then that's another numbers game that you kind of have to adjust. Just straight up changing the mechanic is the better play, and I think that the devs did it better. This way. So yeah, the Dog Kill Drone, this buff is huge. Care Package. is also another banger, I feel. I'm definitely gonna have to experiment with this because I'm wondering if everybody has level 4 or 5 body shields, if it completely eliminates the chance of a body shield happening, spawning. Because if that does, then it would be a nerf. In in-game scenarios, like if you're looking to get a body swap off of one, but you get like a level 3 knockdown shield instead. We'll have to see. Yeah, especially because the other equipment section, weapon attachment. Yeah, I think this is fine. I personally don't use the care package a lot because especially in ranked, it kind of gives your position away. For normals, it's fine to use because you're kind of looking for gunfights to get better at the game, anyways. But yeah, it's in an iffy situation. But I think if it guarantees an upgrade, then we'll see more people using it during ranked. So Octane stim, reduce cooldown for, between stims from 4 seconds to 1. Increased health cost from 12 HP to 20 HP. Increased bullets spread while in the air and shooting from low launchpad trajectory. Okay. Octane continues to perform really well after the last changes. Well, too well, we love the frequency of the jump pad, but we'd like to make some using stim something Octane thinks about doing at the right time instead of always slamming by default. So I'm pretty sure when Octane uses a stim, he actually gets a big burst of movement speed, like it's instant acceleration, and a lot of people use this to basically just get instant slide jumps. Now that the cooldown is reduced between stims from 4 seconds to 1 second, I'm assuming that this is actually going to open up more movement potential. Yeah, I think that we're going to see a lot of people doing crazy wall bounces and stuff like that using the accelerated stim repeatedly during a fight. The health cost being bumped up from 12 HP to 20 HP is actually quite steep. Before on Octane, you could basically just spam stim over and over again. And by the time that it expires, you're going to have most of your health back. So that's exactly what they wanted to address by ramping up the HP cost and making it a more strategic option. Yeah, I think Octane is still going to be used a lot, but not in the same way that he was before, for his stims at least. I think this just increases the whatchamacallit, the skill cap of the character. Yeah, cooldown reduce. Yeah, there's gonna be more different scenarios where this is gonna be used. I'm also wondering if people are gonna use this to do more, find more rotation. No, not necessarily team rotations, but to get from point A to point B, there might be more opportunities for you to do that with the reduced cooldown between stims, though it's gonna come at a much greater health cost. Yeah, it's definitely not spammable, but we'll have to see what people can come up with regarding Octane. Loba. Fixed a lot of bugs that caused the bracelet tosses to fail. This, I swear, is in every single patch note. I don't know when it's gonna be fixed or if they're gonna just remove the rework the queue to begin with, but this needs to be fixed further. So Burglar's best friend can now run and slide at full speed while aiming the bracelet, and while the bracelet is in the air, Loba will no longer be slowed after translocating. So this is basically another skill where you can aim it while running. Another character that does that off the top of my head is Fuse, because I felt that Fuse is actually a super clunky character to play if you stick with the default Q binding for using your tactical. So because not because of this, but if more characters end up adapting this kind of movement potential while having to aim, we're gonna probably see characters' Qs, tacticals being bound to a mouse button instead of the keyboard. I think that's a change that's gonna happen sooner or later. And Black Market Boutique, increased cooldown from 90 seconds to 120 seconds. Okay, this is fair. I honestly don't know if this is a big enough nerf, but this is fair. Simply because if you do proper rotations on Loba, you're gonna get from one point to another in the 90 seconds, and your Black Market is always gonna be up. Always, without fail. It's kind of ridiculous, especially for newer players that loot slowly. This thing never goes down. Actually, yeah, if you're a newer player that loots slowly, Black Market Boutique is actually up twice in a it's usually up twice before you move on to a next location, so you can drop it down in one half of an area, like for example one half of market, and then cover the other half of market with this one. It's kind of ridiculous, but yeah, well, a 30-second difference, it's okay, we'll see. Horizon gravity lift, reduce speed, lift speed by 30%, reduce side to side acceleration, limited the time you can stay at the top to gravity of 2 seconds, increase cooldown from 15 seconds to 20 seconds. So she got hit with a huge ass nerf, but this is justified, I feel. So they basically just took out, so they basically, whatchamacallit, I got lost because of a comment. Okay, yeah, so they basically just put in all the different suggestions that people were saying to nerf the Horizon Q, and they kind of just did the riot special, and they just hit her with both nerfs at once. So one of the things that people were complaining about was the jiggle, the side-to-side jiggle. She was basically just way too hard to hit, and the fact that she had complete accuracy while jiggling at the top with like a Spitfire was just obnoxious and annoying. So she's gonna be a lot easier to hit at the top. Limited time you can sit at the top, gravity lift to 2 seconds. So she's basically not able to just sit at the top and just gun down people anymore, or pop a full heal while jiggling in the air. So that's good, but yeah, she definitely got hit with a double whammy. And to top it off, the reduced lift speed by 30%. The funniest thing about this is I don't think these were what the pro players were honestly complaining about either. Some of them were. There's different complaints coming from different people, but I also heard that one of the complaints were the fact that the gravity lift is too quiet. So I wish they would make it a little bit louder as well, but the fact that they didn't put the gravity lift audio on the patch notes is a little bit concerning, but we'll have to see. Yeah, it's because Horizon as a character is just too quiet. Even when she lands on the ground, she's actually really hard to hear simply because of her passive. And the gravity lift kind of made it so that their entire team could basically just sneak up on you without you ever noticing it. Never mind the audio glitches that the game is experiencing right now. Yeah, it's basically like a compounding issue, but it seems like they're on the right track to addressing it. Although in a different way. They're not taking it head on, they're just tackling from the side. I think this is okay. Increased cooldown from 15 seconds to 20 seconds. This is actually a big nerf. It's gradually gonna get to the point where it's like Wraith, where you basically don't get out of jail free card anymore. Where right now Wraith basically has to have 2 seconds where she doesn't get hit to basically get out scot-free. Yeah, Horizon's getting the similar treatment. Horizon's abilities will now get zapped by Wasp and Pylons. So her Q and her ulti basically gets zapped by Wasp and Pylons. So if Wasp were to bunker up inside a building, you can no longer use Horizon's ultimate to basically bust open the bunker. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Horizon is powerful and popular, but that's not why you were making these changes. We believe that mistakes in Apex Legends should be punishable, and when Horizon could just get herself out of bad positioning while popping a whole battery, this just wasn't true. These changes have 2 goals. 1, make it much more possible for enemies to shoot Horizon as she sits in the gravity lift, and 2, make gravity lift less of an impromptu sniper tower. Yeah, these 2 things were kind of crazy, especially the fact that you could basically sit at the top of your Horizon Q and use a Kraber with 100% accuracy. I don't think that's how it works. Well, I don't think that's how it should work anyways. So moving on to the next character, Fuse. Knuckle Cluster. Now Fuse now has 2 stacks of Knuckle Cluster, reduce cooldown from 25 seconds to 20 seconds. Come again? More help is coming, but we want to be very careful of how we buff him so that he doesn't become the legend that kills people just as abilities. Yeah, so Fuse, right? Apex Legends. His Q does like 75 damage, doesn't it? No, when stuck to a surface or enemy dealing 10 damage, it takes about 1.5 seconds to cluster mini explosions multiple times, dealing up to 50 damage per grenade. Okay, so it's really good that they made it so that everyone drops with a level 1 shield, because otherwise you could be killed with 2 Fuse Qs if they are both stuck onto you. Yeah, that level 1 shield, Evo shield buff is huge for dealing with Fuse. Yeah, because any team with a fuse would basically be able to just force any hot drop, and they're immediately going to be coming out ahead should a fight break out because of the two. Yeah, if he could actually just knock one person out and turn into a 3v2 punching match. It's good that they took this into consideration before adding the 2 stacks of knuckle cluster. The 2 stacks of knuckle cluster, it's actually, I don't know if it's gonna make him viable now though. I honestly don't know. Fuse is just kind of a clunky player character to begin with. The one change that I probably would have made instead of giving him 2 stacks of knuckle cluster would probably be to reduce time it takes to switch out from the knuckle cluster back to your weapon, but that might be another super tricky thing to balance, so I'm not sure about that. I'm not a fuse main either, so yeah, that's just my take on it, but just take it with a grain of salt. Bangalore smoke launcher, thinking Bangalore smoke. Huh. This thing is kind of funny to me because the rumor mill was basically saying that Bangalore smoke was actually getting nerfed, but apparently it's getting buffed instead. The last patch we optimized Bangalore smoke particles and we inadvertently thinned them out. This aims to get her back in the original visuals while keeping the optimizations. Okay, so the change that was made in the last patch was Bangalore smoke and caustic smoke were basically a lot easier to see through. There's no mention of caustic in this patch notes, so his smoke should still be easy to see through, but Bangalore should still be really hard to see through. Which raises the importance of running digital threats when you're playing as or against Bangalore. I think this is smart. And also because of the thickened Bangalore smoke, increasing the priority of getting a digi threat on your team, I'm wondering how this is gonna play out in arenas. If instead of running a 1x HCOG on wingmans, if people are gonna be running digital threats instead. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I want to see how the pro players play Apex and if Bangalore is going to be used in a lot of team comps at all. Because one thing Bangalore could really do with the smokes is is she can turn fights into close range ones, and it could basically render the Bojack bow useless if you have to get up and close with someone. I'm pretty sure other weapons have higher DPSs at that range. Yeah, we'll have to see. Bloodhound no longer receives assist from Eye of the Allfather. So Bloodhound is no longer going to be the go-to character for climbing in ranked. Because if you wanted to get carried as Bloodhound, all you have to do is basically just queue with 2 better players and just scan while trailing behind them. So that's no longer a viable tactic. Bloodhound scan is strong, but the goal of the changes to particulars to reconsider assists and their implications for ranked points. There's enough intrinsic value in sonar scans, and it's a slippery slope to consider crediting kills assists for other non-damaging abilities. Crypto will remain an exception. The active nature of Crypto's drone scan is notably different from the passive option in the Bloodhound. This should encourage Bloodhound players to act on the information they get from the scan to eliminate instances where they might be trying to snag a quick assist without committing to fight in the same way that Crypto has to. So the reason why Crypto has to commit to a fight is because he's kind of still stuck in the drone. If he stays in the drone for too long, then the fight... if he stays in the drone for too long, then the teammates are basically stuck in a 2v3 situation and you're most likely going to lose, especially in higher elos when people are more closely matched up against each other. Yeah, so it's an okay... I think this is a change that needed to happen. It's because beforehand, you could still keep it at a 3v3 while getting wallhack abilities for like 2 seconds. I think this is kind of messed up. While giving you the assist, even though if you're just not committing to the fight. But we'll see. I think Crypto's drone scan is still in a kind of an iffy state, truth be told. Yeah, but then again, I don't main Crypto either, so we'll see. Crypto's drone can now scan and open care packages, can no longer use this drone to hijack a respawn beacon that's already in use. So the funny thing about Crypto drone before was if someone was trying to use a respawn beacon, you could, because Crypto's drone pops respawn beacons immediately, you could yoink respawn beacons from other players, other teams by just taking it for yourself. And in a situation like that, you're basically already stuck in a 2v2 or 1v2 situation anyways. and it's gonna quickly turn into like a 3v2. But yeah, it's funny how this works. I don't think that they changed anything where you could park your drone in front of Okay, yeah, there's another crypto drone trick where you could basically park your drone in front of a survey beacon, and other cryptos wouldn't be able to scan it because it would try to interact with the drone instead, to no avail. I don't know if that's by design or if that's an unintentional side effect of how drones work, but it seems like they didn't address it, so I'm guessing that kind of feature, that quote-unquote feature, is here to stay. Crypto's drone can now scan and open care packages. This thing is kind of big because this just means that you don't have to commit to side. Yeah, Loba could still basically pop her black market to see what's inside anyways, but it's nice to have another character that can do something similar. Because it really sucks opening a care package and finding out that you don't actually need anything from it. Wait, did my stream just die out on YouTube? No, it's fine. Okay. Okay, weapon updates. Marksman weapon category. The G7 Scout and the 3030 are currently in the assault rifle weapons category, but they're a bit strange in that the category due to their firing style and some of their handling values. Similarly, the triple take felt a little out of place in the sniper category. Something is crapping itself. My stream just cut off, didn't it? I think it just cut off. Come on.